So this is a real world review of the Airtel Xtreme box. I have been using this box for the past week and I have upgraded from the Airtel HD box which I got perhaps 5 years ago. When I was considering various options for my requirements, I could not find a specific and actual user review that was clear enough to point me in the right direction. So I've decided to make this video to help anyone considering a hybrid set-top box or even one of the other streaming devices. Physically, the box is smaller than the previously released Airtel Internet TV box that was released in 2017 and comes with rounded edges. It is bigger than the HD box that Airtel offers as their basic HD box. In terms of input ports, at the back you get your HDMI and AV video outputs along with the coaxial cable input. There is also a single USB port and an Ethernet jack. On the side you get another USB port and a micro SD card slot. On the front there is just one big on-off button and two LED lights underneath it that turn red or green depending on the status of the box. When the box is in use, an Xtreme logo also lights up on the left side. A little bit about the remote. It's a nice small-sized remote with most of the important functions including channel number buttons. There are dedicated buttons for Netflix, YouTube and Amazon Prime Video. There is also a dedicated button for the Google Assistant. Two important omissions are the play-pause button and the favorites button, but more on this later. The Xtreme box also supports HDMI CEC functionality and you can use either the TV remote for most functions or stick to the Airtel remote for even turning on and off the TV and thereafter navigating the Xtreme box. One important feature of this box is the integrated Google Chromecast, which negates the need for a separate device. This feature works very well and you will see the Xtreme box appear on your device's cast menu. Now moving to the interface of the box, you are presented with a customized Airtel skin that has a total of 5 tabs on the top row. The home tab has a show reel of the trending shows and movies. Below this, you will see any of the titles that you've previously watched and would like to continue watching. Underneath this, you will get a row of channels that you have added as your favorites. The next row has the most popular apps such as Netflix, Prime Video, etc. Beneath this, there is a lot of content categorized under various categories and the range and quality of content is quite good. Now coming to the TV channels tab, this is perhaps one of the most important sections for a hybrid TV box because this is where you will see a listing of live DTH channels. The first section shows your favorite TV channels that you have saved. Below this is a TV guide that categorizes channels according to various genres and languages. You can also access this guide directly from the remote via a dedicated guide button. Also remember that you can enter a channel number anytime when browsing the menu interface and it will take you directly to the chosen live TV channel. This will obviously not work in situations where you're watching on-demand content, and in such cases you have a live button on the remote to go back to live TV. Now let's talk a little bit about the performance when watching live TV channels. When you select a TV channel from the home screen, the channel info and a black screen is what you will see initially, and the video feed will start in around 4 seconds. Also, when the feed starts, you will notice the video stuttering and lagging for a second before it stabilizes and starts to play normally. When you change channels by using the channel up or down buttons, the lag is reduced to half of this time. So around a second for the video feed to appear and another for it to stabilize. All Airtel HD boxes have this lag, and the old HD box had a similar reaction time. The 2017 Airtel Internet box that I also have is now extremely laggy and can sometimes take many more seconds to even recognize commands from the remote and then go to a grey screen before showing video. So if you're upgrading from any of the Airtel's older boxes, the Xtreme box will certainly feel like a quicker box and an overall snappier experience. In terms of quality of the video, as is well known, the default picture mode for the Xtreme box is HDR. And when you leave the resolution settings to auto, the HDR notification will be displayed by your TV, if it has this feature. Generally, I found channel 206, that is Star Gold HD, to offer good quality on the old box, and it is pretty much the same on the Xtreme box. Now, two other points for live DTH channel viewing. First and foremost, please know that this box does not support recording of channels in any way as yet. This has been the case since launch, and no one in Airtel currently knows when this will be enabled. This is mentioned in their FAQ section of the website, but their installers are mostly unaware. So if this feature is important to you, steer clear of this box for now. Both their older boxes offer this feature, and you can simply connect a pen drive to them to record programs. Secondly, the old HD box had a dedicated favorite button on the remote. Once you pressed this button, the favorite mode was activated, and you would then only see the channels that you had marked as your favorites. This meant that pressing the channel up and down buttons would only show you channels relevant and subscribed by you. You would then not see the annoying not subscribed channel info screen. With the Extreme box, the only way to access these channels is via the menu screen, which means exiting live view, scrolling to find the channel you want, then going back to live view, which is a much longer and more tedious process. So these 2 points are definitely regressive steps when compared to the older boxes. However, the info screen for each channel when you press the center button when watching live TV is much nicer to look at and much quicker and smoother. It also offers the usual options of choosing a different audio track language and setting reminders. Scrolling to the next channel info without changing the channel is also very quick and snappy. In the end, a little warning about the banner that promotes channels in TV channels tab on the menu screen. These are premium channels and very costly to subscribe, ranging from 1 rupees a day to 70 rupees per channel in some cases. So please be aware of the cost before you elect to subscribe to any of these promotions. Briefly talking about the process of adding a favorite channel. There are multiple ways to do this. Easiest is perhaps pressing the options button in live channel view and adding to your favorites. You can do the same in the guide screen and add it that way. There is also a dedicated option under settings for this purpose, where you will see a list of channels and pressing OK on them will add them to your favorites. The next tab acts as an aggregator of the catalog of movies from various apps such as Airtel Extreme app, Hoichoi, Google Play Movies, ZEE5, etc. This is an especially useful feature because it means not having to go into each app to view their catalog of films. This centralized approach is super convenient and should be adopted widely. The range and quality of content is generally excellent. In fact, when watching some of my favorite older Bollywood titles, I was pleasantly surprised to find excellent video quality. One area that I found lacking was that when you view the description for a movie, you do not get an option to add it to a watch list, like you do with Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. This means the only way to save it to a convenient place is to start the movie so that it appears in your continue watching section on the home screen menu. Now the next tab categorizes shows available from the various apps similar to the movies section. It offers a good selection of shows and web series. This is where opinions may differ, and most of the action is taking place in the industry here, with different platforms producing exclusive content. In any case, it's good to have, and the quality and variety is not lacking. Now coming to the last but perhaps the most important tab on the menu, the Apps and Games tab. This is your Android section of the interface and the section that you can customize according to your taste. Here you get access to all the popular VOD apps such as Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, ZEE5, Alt Balaji, etc. Fear not, as this is an Android TV box, all apps that you may want are available, either directly through the Google Play Store, such as Hotstar, Disney Plus, etc., or you can easily sideload them via installer apps such as ES File Explorer, or even easier via TV File Commander that is available on the Play Store itself. So that means you can install JioTV, MX Player TV, etc. Being an Android box, you can also install applications like Kodi directly if you're more technically inclined. And also you can sideload some CCTV apps that will allow you to view the feed from your CCTV cameras. There is a lot you can do here, and it will depend on individual taste and preferences. Just know that this is based on the current situation and firmware as in May 2020, so like other proprietary boxes, restrictions may get imposed in the future that may render these unofficial apps unusable. If that is what you aim to do, then perhaps an open source Android box is a better buy. But as things stand, in terms of customization, this is an excellent box, much better than the completely locked down Jio set-top box, and even the faster but more difficult to customize Fire TV Stick. Just to give you a little bit of idea about what I like to watch, I wanted to get the BBC iPlayer app to watch BBC shows. Unfortunately, this app is region restricted. That means you cannot download it easily to the LG WebOS platform. It also does not show up in the Play Store, which means I had to sideload it. Additionally, it also requires the use of a VPN to work. Fortunately, ExpressVPN has an excellent Android TV app, and I was able to download this via the Play Store, and once connected, the iPlayer app works well with good quality live channels and VOD content. It did, however, require the use of a mouse to work properly, as you cannot select certain sections with the remote, and also the highlighted items do not pop out or get highlighted well enough to be seen and selected easily. In terms of app performance, the official apps work without a hiccup, but the side-loaded apps can have their own quirks. Some might not respond well with the remote, and you will need to connect a USB or Bluetooth mouse. Some unofficial apps take up too much of the meager RAM that this box has, so will require either to be force-stopped via the Android menu or sometimes even a complete shutdown of the box by pulling the power cable. Without this, I found that sometimes the box can freeze or the live TV channels may not display at all. So if we talk about my overall thoughts about this box, it is definitely a much faster box than the previous 2017 internet box, and if you're still using that box, it is highly recommended that you upgrade. You will get a much faster and smoother experience. The same goes for the older HD box, and whilst that box was not that slow because it was simply a live TV box and not Android based, but if you have a 4K TV, that box will no longer offer the native resolution that your TV deserves. The only reason to stick to either of those boxes will be to retain the recording feature. I also have the Jio set-top box that I intend to make another video about, but that box uses your internet data for everything it does. So unless this is not an issue for you, I would prefer a DTH based solution. Also, that box does not offer the classic TV viewing experience, which means you cannot change channels by using the channel up or down buttons, and instead you have to use the Jio TV Plus app to go to live channels, and in some cases further into the Media House app for that particular channel. The Airtel Extreme box cost me 2,250 rupees, being an existing Airtel customer, and at this price I can wholeheartedly recommend this box. If you're paying full price of 4,000 rupees for this box, consider your options first. If VOD and streaming is your main requirement, it is better to go for something like a Fire TV Stick. If you want to record live TV programs, go for one of the more basic Airtel boxes or one of the other providers' offerings. If, however, you want a single solution that combines DTH channels with streaming services whilst offering customization for your preferences, the Airtel Extreme box is currently a very strong proposition. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel if you like the content and wish to see my future uploads.